right, everybody, welcome to the Nobody Entertainment Podcast. My name is Nobody James, and this here is Nobody John the Mustache. How are you doing this week, John?
I'm doing fine.
You don't have to put the finger up; it's already there.
I know, caterpillar for life.
Yeah,
You can
it
call me
looks
the
good. You got this
monarch.
Freddie Mercury vibe going on. Just say,
He
"Anybody find
does.
me
I can't do that.
somebody to love?"
Somebody to love.
Or you could do the Bohemian Rhapsody, whichever you prefer. Just don't get us claimed on YouTube because we're raking in those YouTube dollars, all
Yeah, I'm not
zero.
gonna get us demonetized.
I'm
Okay.
just saying,
I'm not gonna
absolutely, an
say
average
anything
of 7
racially
views a week.
charged. I'm not gonna make any controversial comments or points of view. And I'm not gonna rip off anybody's intellectual property,
I
which might
most
not be his
any of
intellectual property as much as the studio's intellectual property.
I don't believe any of that. Speaking of studios, intellectual property, have you heard about this this new who is it that's streaming straight to HBO Max over the year 2021?
Warner
Is it
Media.
Warner? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's
dude,
Warner
I was
Media.
like,
They're
guess
big
who's
name
about to get
titles.
the yeah, guess who's about to get a HBO Max subscription?
That's what I'm saying. And can you imagine? Because if you think about it, like for instance, Wonder Woman that's going to be coming directly to HBO Max, but it's also coming to the theater. So I
hmm
completely understand that they're doing a little bit of both. But still, it's, I mean, how many billion? I mean, they would have made $1 billion on that
Nah,
movie, right?
dude, right now HBO is like we can get a hella deal. To increase our subscribers. We'll pay even if they like let's say they give like if I watch the movie or whatever, they give $3 to the
Okay.
studio. They're still making their money in the long haul because they got deals on all those films because they've been pushed back and pushed back, pushed back because they're not going to make any money from theater sales. They're not. I mean, like
No,
overall. So they need to
you're
recoup their costs. So now HBO's like, listen, your film's not going to be as big as you thought it was going to be. We'll cut you a deal. Here's some slack. You can
That's
go
the
to
thing I just don't
Netflix.
necessarily believe because I understand that they need their annual costs recouped, but the thing is, a film is the gift that keeps on giving. Once they have it in the bank, they can sit on it. It's not going to lose value over the course of days, weeks, months, years, right? The only thing is they aren't bringing in the money today. So if they spent, say, hypothetically, I guess that's where their mind's at, right? So they spent what $200 million to make Wonder Woman 1987 or whatever it is,
Probably.
right? So if they spent $200 million and they're thinking, well, if we can make back, make $400 million, then we're sitting in the pretty because their advertising costs are way down, their actual theater costs are way down, which the way
Well,
the
they've been
theaters,
advertising. They were advertising that film for a long time.
and most of it's been, at least in my experience, most of it's been online though. So that's a little bit of a discount versus trying to advertise it during like primetime NFL games and stuff like that. Maybe they are, but I haven't really seen that. So I mean, but the like the lineup of the movies that's coming out, like Dune and obviously Wonder Woman, like we had previously mentioned. They have a Tom and Jerry movie that's coming out,
I want to
um,
see that.
which I know is not going to be like big game, but I have to imagine that movie cost them like 20-30 million dollars to make, and it's going to bring in probably $100 million now.
What if it's like a dark Tom and Jerry, like an Itchy and Scratchy? You
I'd
know.
be down.
I
I'd
mean,
be down.
it's going on HBO. I mean, wait a minute,
The
Sesame
Matrix
Street's
4.
is that on HBO?
That's going to be on HBO
Yeah, because
Plus. More.
we're gonna miss out on Keanu Reeves Day.
Is that a day?
It was gonna be a day where they were gonna release Matrix 4 and John Wick 3 Part 2 or whatever you want to call it.
Have you watched the John Wick movies?
Yeah,
They're awesome.
I love them.
I think it's the rating for me is probably the first, the third, and then the second. I think there's like the second for some reason has a pretty clear drop off, but the third kind of picks it back up and gets right back into the swing of things. But it's still second's
Okay.
still a good movie. You didn't like it, or you do like it? You think it's better?
The third, I thought it was a little long, and I really wish they would have just made it a 4-hour movie, and I could have watched both parts at the same time. But now I have to wait, and so I'm mad about it. So
I'm not mad at all. I love the third one. I thought it was great. But
you like
let's
the
see.
wait? What are you, Mr. Patience now?
I'm
Ooh, I
Mr.
can wait.
Patience, dude.
You tell your wife
I
that all the time. I can wait, girl.
That's true. I mean, I've been waiting for a year. Why not make it another? No, but I
Tears.
love this. I love this lineup because the way it works out, like Wonder Woman, Dune, The Matrix, Mortal Kombat, which I personally am a huge fan of the original Mortal Kombat movie because I'm a fan of the series and I was a kid when it came out. I thought the first movie was generally fantastic for what it needed to be. Um, In the Heights, which I believe is the Lin-Manuel Miranda musical, and
Yeah.
I know you don't give a shit about that, but I think it's going to be awesome. Um,
Is it a rock opera? No, they don't care about your musical.
that's true. You probably don't,
Les
but you don't even
Miserables
like
was
rock
okay.
operas. You just like very
Les Miserables was okay, but like 2 years ago when I came to your
soft.
house, like your wife was just singing it all the time, and I was like, I guess I have to hate this.
Yeah, it's bad. Les Miserables is bad.
It was all right.
It was not. It was bad. I like few and far between musicals. I like Rent. I like Chicago. I like obviously Hamilton. I like The Lion King.
You know what I appreciate about HBO?
The after hours viewing, the pornography.
Do they have that still?
I don't even know if they still do,
I mean,
to be
I can
honest.
rock this mustache a little more, you know what I'm saying?
All over HBO.
Yeah. Who wants the mustache ride? No, the fact that they're not being like Disney Plus. Like,
We have
oh,
the
we
extra,
have a theatrical release of Mulan, and you have a subscription through our service.
which is
Extra 30
actually
bucks.
an
Extra
actual
30
like
bucks.
good question because that's going to lead into my topic of conversation that we're going to have tonight. But before we get there, what would you pay? Let's say hypothetically, HBO Max they charge a $10 to $15 a month subscription,
15.
and then Wonder Woman 84, not 87, 84 comes out. How much would you pay to watch that at home? Specifically, that movie. It's not a movie to movie basis. I'm just saying that movie specifically. Would you pay any extra?
I probably paid 20 bucks.
Okay. Okay. And how about Dune?
I would pay 30 bucks. I'd probably
Okay.
watch it with some friends. If they wanted to literally
That's fine. That's
if
all part
okay,
of the
so
package.
let's put it like I would pay 30 bucks for a 1080p version. I don't have a 4K TV, but if I had friends with like 4K and they were like, "Okay, it's going to cost you 50 bucks to watch it on 4K, more bandwidth, heavier server load time." I'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to get some of my friends. They're going to quarantine for 14 days or whatever the CDC recommends, and we're going to watch that at whoever's house has the 4K TV." Hey, James.
I'm just now thinking about this. Whenever Dune comes out, let me see if I can find the release date. We'll get together and we'll watch that. Here we go. Dune, October 1st of 2021. We could totally make that happen.
Yeah. Which vaccine are you going to go with?
I'll come to you. I don't know, Pfizer probably because I want an erection to go along with it.
Pfizer. Yeah. AstraZeneca. I know it's like 70%, but I like the way that they do there. I don't need my cells genetically modified to produce,
Dude,
the
I'll,
proteins to
I'm
identify the
going to be one of
virus.
those people sitting on the sidelines just waiting to see if those zombies come. You know, I want to see these people turn. This is
What
how
was
I've
that?
said
What
this
was that
before.
movie?
This is
I
how
Am Legend, right? With Will Smith, they're trying to cure cancer and they make
little
vampire things.
zombie vampire monsters. All right, so here's the
Hmm.
lineup real quick before we switch gears. The little things, which I don't even know what that is. January 29th. Tom and Jerry, March 5th. The Many Saints of Newark, March 12th. Reminiscence, April 16th. Godzilla versus Kong, May 21st.
That's yeah.
That's a big one right there. The
Hmm.
Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, June 4th. Those movies are $300 to $400 million movies. I mean budget. In the Heights, June 18th. Space Jam, A New Legacy, July 16th. I believe that one stars.
Wait, what?
What you didn't know they were
A new
doing
Space
a new
Jam?
Space Jam? Yeah.
So I'll have to rewatch the original. Did the aliens leave?
I don't think you need to rewatch it. I'm not sure the continuity is really going to be there.
Was it gonna
Maybe
be
it
like a?
is.
Is it gonna be like a soccer one this time or football? It's not basketball.
I mean, it's called
It's
Space
golf.
Jam, so I think it's probably going to be basketball. And as far as I understood, it was going to be uh, man, why am I blanking on his name?
LeBron
James?
James.
LeBron James. I think he's supposed to be the star. I was thinking Kendall James. Like I just couldn't get there. Sorry, I'm not a
Kendall
big basketball
Jenner.
fan. Kendall Jenner. That'd be good. Um, and then Suicide Squad, August 6th, Dune, October 1st, King Richard,
Wait,
November
a new
19th.
Suicide Squad?
A Newicide Squad.
I mean, Harley Quinn.
Yep, she's gonna
I'll
be
be
there.
your Joker, baby.
Matrix 4, December 22nd. Crime Macho, TBD. Malignant, TBD. Those Who Wish Me Dead, TBD. Mortal Kombat, TBD. And Judas and the Black Messiah, TBD.
What about John Wick?
I didn't see any John Wick up in that mug. Are you looking
They're
it
gonna
up?
make me get risky, aren't they?
They're gonna make you get frisky.
Make me get
So with
risky.
that being said, John, like I said before, you said $20 for Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So how much are you going to pay for Dune? You said 50.
If on 4K, like 30 OG. Oh, the John Wick 4 is now 2022. All right, thanks
You're not getting it.
IMDb.
You're not getting
Got
it. Cancel
depressed.
cancel that subscription already.
We're done.
All right. So Matrix 4, how about that one?
How much would I pay for that one?
Hmm?
If I pay for that, do I get access to the original 3?
I assume they're on HBO. Why would they be coming to the streaming app if they didn't have the
I thought we were just like, if I pay, like, if I'm on Amazon and I'm going to pay to rent this movie for a 24-hour lease, These are
No.
what I'm doing, like the
No.
30, not on top of the
No.
subscription.
The question is if you're already paying a $15 subscription fee a month, how much
Oh,
money would you pay on top?
okay, sorry. Wonder Woman's 15. We're dropping the monies, okay?
Ah, you already
Yeah, we
said
have
20.
to.
You already
Wonder
said
Woman's
20.
15. If I'm paying
No.
$15 a month and I want a movie, $15. Dune went from $30 is now on $20, okay? And it's only 25 for the 4K. This is what they did. If I've got to pay $15 a month, okay? So, there you go.
All right. All right, Freddie. What about The Matrix?
4K, it's the
The
same as
Matrix.
Dune,
The
$25.
Matrix 4K. All right, Suicide
Full hey
Squad.
hey, but I'll put this on this way. If they have a VR version, like where you could if you
Live
look
it.
any direction, you get to have like a 3D, like you get to look around the world and stuff like that. That's worth $50 alone.
But what if they come with a COVID-19 vaccine?
Is it in a pill form?
It's in a shot form, and you have to take 2 doses 3 months apart
No, no.
in the urethra.
I mean, I speak German, so I'm down for a little excitement, Just a little nurse, nurse.
I'm glad I can't see you because you're cruising the internet right now.
I'm not on the internet. I close the internet. You
You're
can't see
locked up
me?
like crazy. No.
I'm fine. That's right.
All
Keep
right, I'll
on.
just look at this frozen image of you staring blankly at the screen. I love it.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm good to
It's
go.
it's all I need. Here, I'm gonna make my image bigger so I can at least see me moving around. So, with that being
Hey James, you froze up. I'm gonna pause.
so with how's your week been?
Maybe I never even stopped it.
That's all right. We're gonna run it. This whole thing's going in. I don't
Ugh.
even edit them anymore. I just plug on the beginning and the end because I don't got time for that shit. So it's gonna be a bunch of you staring at the screen. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I leave
Me
in all
like
the
looking at
racial
my phone, like
slurs,
declining your
all
calls.
the homophobic slurs, all
There
the
were,
anti-Semitic conversation.
I mean,
I'm mostly kidding.
Epstein.
Yeah, that's true, Epstein. Why not? With that mustache, you could fit right in. But
No, I'm not
John,
saying. Oh, you. Okay.
how
Hi.
has your week been?
Pretty good until I was put right alongside Epstein, but um. It's been pretty good. Been playing a little bit of that Pixel Junk Monsters,
Okay, you scared me for a second.
No Shave November's over, so I had to shave off. Left the caterpillar.
I
Don't know
had to
how my.
shave off a I had to shave off a little over here, a little over here, a little down here, but nothing right there.
No, I'm not leaving a goat. We're not gonna have the goatee. Um. Anyhow, so that's pretty much it. Playing a little bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Did dip back into Plague: A Tale of Innocence because I wanted to run it on my Steam machine, which has, it's that Alienware. It's running on Linux, and it's got that 860M in it that's been overclocked, and it frames dipped to like 45 frames a second, sometimes 30, maybe 20, but it's playable, and I was thoroughly impressed. So kudos to Steam and all the companies that they've contracted work to make that happen. It's
Have you
good.
beat the game?
No, I haven't played much of it. In fact, I
Isn't
stopped
it a
playing up to the
short
point.
game?
I don't know. I know that I didn't want to get to the part. I was in a very emotional state where there's a part where you're like walking through the woods with your dad, then the dog runs off barking at something, and spoiler alert, The dog makes a horrible noise that it got hurt, and it gets sucked down some hole, and it is very traumatizing for me. So I played it up just to test it on the system, and then it was like, I got to be in the right mindset, maybe a couple beers deep before I freaking try to venture into this game. So
It says 10 to 12 hours to beat. So you're saying that if a dog dies, it's going to tickle your heartstrings a little bit?
yeah, it does. Cause you're a little French girl, right? Who wants your daddy's girl? You want to be a knight. You've got Bruno, your dog, and you're playing with him one moment. The next moment, he's running chasing a boar or something, and then he's getting sucked down some demon hole. Not fire demon, but by black goop, kind of creepy crap. And I'm just like, it's late at night. I don't need nightmares, and I don't need to hear dogs whining. Oh yeah. Speaking of dogs whining, sorry. I was watching this like Elfen Lied. It's an anime, and in there there's a puppy that gets bludgeoned to death by these bullies, and I was like, well, I'm 12 episodes into this show, and now I'm out. So I know why this lady went crazy, and she's a murderer now, but I can't handle the little dog dying.
It's sad that you draw the line at dogs dying, but not.
Humans can. There's too many of them. I don't care.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Speaking of everything that you're talking about, right, where you draw the line, all this fun stuff. This would have been probably 2 weeks ago, right? My wife and I go to bed, and then she pulled up this movie on Netflix, this short film. It's like 12, 15 minutes long, and it's called "If Anything Happens, I Love You," right? Um, and she said, "Have you heard anything about this? It's about a family whose daughter passes away, and um, I hear it's like incredibly emotional and blah 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 blah." Now, I am not an emotional person, but
I know
my
you're.
line is drawn at like children dying, specifically like daughters dying. So if somebody in a movie loses their daughter, it really tugs on my heartstrings. Or like if a parent has a young kid at home and then they pass away, like for instance, a movie that comes to mind is like Ladder 49 or something like that. Um, it really tugs on my heartstrings and it makes me really sad. But she brings this up, and I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm the kind of person I hear about this. And again, it's called "If Anything Happens, I Love You." It's exclusive, as far as I know, exclusively on Netflix, and it's an animated short film. Um, and I'll tell you, this is a movie that you should, or a little short film that you should check out. It's very little dialogue, if any, if I remember right. But she was like, "Have you seen it?" I was like, "No," but I looked at her. I was like, "Challenge accepted." She's like, "No, I don't think you should watch it. It's gonna mess with you, right?" Um, so we were laying in bed, lights are off, we're going to sleep. I turned this thing on and I finish it up, and she's like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I laid there, and then like a tear came to my eye, and like slowly started trickling down because it kind of speaks to you, and it's about. I really don't want to spoil it for any of the 6 people that watch this show, but I
You
think
want
it's
them to
something.
cry too.
It's something that I think you should check out. It's short enough that it's not going to hold you back, um, but it's really well done and it's tasteful. It's not overly dramatized. It's not something that's gonna like make you want to like bash your head into a mirror or something like that. You're just gonna enjoy it for what it is and be able to move on. So, you talking about how you don't like to listen to dogs cry made me think of that.
Cry? You mean that little yelp whimper thing? Yeah, no,
That's
I won't.
crying. That's crying because a dog doesn't know how to emote.
I can't handle it. I'd murder somebody.
If you don't even have a dog, John,
Nope,
you have
I got
19
cats.
cats.
Just
What sound does a cat make?
Spike, come here.
Don't kill your cat, John.
I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna get. She makes noises. She meows and stuff like that.
You
Right
just
now,
start choking it. I'm like,
because
this guy's dark.
she doesn't have
I'm,
all her teeth. Like if I look at her, sometimes she has her tongue sticking out just the front. Like I'm just
that's
like,
pretty cute.
you cute little bitch.
You cute little.
Madison at first, so she has like a weird walk, like it's like a prissy walk. So I make names for my cats. I've got stinky butt, I've got sexy butt, I've got
What?
fat butt, and a hungry butt.
So
Spike is
how did sexy butt get sexy butt, and then stinky
it.
butt got stinky butt?
Well, Lucy's stinky butt. Okay, she's a little stinky butt. When she was a kitten, if you pet her so much where she would be purring, her like butthole would puck out a little bit and she'd let little farts, and so she's stinky. She's cute. She's got a stanky leg too. If you pet her too much, she like stiffens up her leg. It's kind of cute. Uh, Spike has
Yes.
that little prissy walk to her, so she's sexy butt. My mom's always hungry, so she's hungry butt. And Ruka is just he's the Hulk, so he's fat butt. Even though he's all front, he skipped leg day for sure.
I guess that cat, he's a little lazy, you know?
Yeah.
He's a little lazy. What else? What else has been going on in your world?
Um, Realizing that winter is not good for my not eating cookies, not staying indoors, not going running. So I've been trying to find a treadmill, and I realized that I'm out of touch with,
I thought you were gonna say I'm out of money.
well, that too, but I'm out of touch with like what people need out of a workout machine. I think everybody's trying to like catch on to that Peloton swing. Like you need a subscription, you need a tablet built in. I'm looking at like nice treadmills. I need it to be long on the belt. I need it to be at least 20
Wide.
inches wide.
Yep.
Um, I I don't need a built-in subscription service to some workout assistant coach who can also control how fast. I just need it to be quiet. I need a good motor, I need a good belt, I need good springs, and I need it to last a long time. And I'm just thinking to myself, I don't need all this extra shit that they probably put
You're
on for $500. I just need a good.
nowadays you're gonna have to get that screen. I think that's like you said. You're gonna have to.
And they all have the subscription service
The
like built in for you.
the subscription service that you have to pay for if you finance it. If you pay for it outright, then you don't have to pay for the subscription service.
No, I know, but it's going to come included, which means it also needs like Wi-Fi capability. So there's extra hardware built in that adds additional costs.
Yeah,
I don't need a fan built into my treadmill.
true.
Most of the high-end ones that go 12
Where's this
miles per hour.
treadmill gonna go? Where are you gonna put it?
Garage.
That's what I thought. So in the summer, you don't want a fan on it.
No, man. I'd open up the garage, turn. I have like a good size fan. I'll let the neighbors watch me run. But I'm not gonna run. Like, here's the deal. I'm not gonna run on my treadmill, um, in my garage. Generally in the summer, because in the summer it's daylight at 5:30. I can get up and go and run in the morning, or I can go run after I get off work because there's still daylight. The problem with winter is that I get up, it's dark. By the time I get to work, then it's starting to become light. I get home and it's dark. And so I don't have daylight time to go running. And I can run at night. I've got a vest that's LED lit up, but I don't want that. So I bought a hat, I bought some gloves. I'm gonna run on my lunch breaks and just be sweaty at work for
I saw
the.
you went on a run today, right?
No, I just walked. I just walked.
Okay. Okay. It popped up. I just walked today too. I've actually gotten back into the weights a little bit. That's my main thing is I've fallen completely off the weights. I will say this.
I've fallen
The
off the
cookies
weights. There's no crunches. There's no push-ups. There's no
the
running.
the cookies have been my I don't know why there's so many freaking cookies in this house, but I have just been demolishing cookie after cookie after cookie.
I'm trying
Yesterday, I
to.
mean,
That's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, listen, I can't continue this. There's too many cookies in the house. I just got to eat them all, and then they'll be
that's
gone.
that is legitimately where my mind is. My thought on the matter is like, okay, there's 4 cookies left. Well, if I eat 2 today, I'll have 2 tomorrow. Yeah, but I don't need to eat like shit tomorrow, so I'll just eat all 4 today. And then tomorrow I find a new bag of cookies. And then I got to start all over. Like, well, I just got to eat this whole box because I can't have it here tomorrow or I've got an unhealthy day now.
Yeah.
So I've gotten back in. My running has been relatively consistent, so I got back into a little bit of the
Now you
weights.
got
I've
that
done weights.
treadmill.
I've got the treadmill, and I've been hitting that almost 5 days a week at least on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. Um, I've been buying and investing in some weights, so I'm growing my weight sets and stuff like that. Yesterday, I finally got back into it. Well, earlier in the week, I did a full workout. I did my curls, I did my chest flies. I really hit a lot. So I'm pretty sore. And then yesterday specifically, I got into like the burpee scene. I did 50 burpees, which I'll tell you, if you haven't done burpees in a long time, they fuck your legs up. So like my
You need to
inner
do
thighs.
plyometrics. You'll love it.
What are you talking about?
Like a lot of like low jumps, like plyometric workouts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure I would, but my legs were so sore like in every different part that they're not normally today that I just walked. I walked 4 miles and I got my steps and that was it for my workouts today. Um, but I'm happy to be getting back on track. I've got to really I think the thing is I'm not gaining weight because I think my muscle is deteriorating, but my body my fat index is growing.
Going up. Yep, that's same
So
here.
it's all like evening out into a bad place. So I'm not gaining weight, but I'm losing muscle mass, and
Yeah.
it's just fat. So I'm working on kind of trying to get that back into gear, and we'll see what I can do with that. But
I say I'm trying to, but I'm not trying that hard. I'm just like, well, as soon as I can go running, I'll get back into it.
what's your expectation to spend on a treadmill? Where are you at?
I was willing to spend $1,200.
I,
Um,
th- I think you could find something for $1,200,
I haven't been able to find anything decent. I found some that are like, but they only go up to 10 miles per hour. They're
which is
the
fine for what you need it for. You just need to get through the winter.
I'm
So
not
you're
spending
looking at
$1,200 on running something that only goes 10 miles per hour.
what do you
I'm going to run a
run?
5K. When I run a 5K on a treadmill, I'll fluctuate between 9 and 11 miles per hour on a 5K.
You're such a pansy. Just deal with it.
No. No.
No. I mean,
I've been even looking into that used market, you know?
you should be able to find something there. The only thing is you're going to get something really old, but you could get it for a fair price.
Yeah, I've been looking at it. Apparently people, I don't understand. There's one person that wanted to sell it was a Nordic track. It was the Model T 600 something whatever. It was like $1,000 treadmill. They were trying to sell it for $550. I was like, oh, that's not bad. 2014. I was like, I'm not. No. How many miles does that have on it? You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. So I bought some gloves. I bought a hat. They're gonna get delivered from Amazon. I'm just gonna try to pump out 4 miles every lunch break for work. And on the weekends, then I can do 7 miles or something like that. There, when the weather wasn't so bad, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did a couple of 4 mile runs on my lunch break. You know, so
I just can't do it. I mean, our weather here is already in the 30s. So I'm sorry, but I mean, best case scenario, we're looking at 30-degree weather. Worst case scenario, I'm looking at like -14. So I'm not doing it. I'll spend
I'll
the $2,200 on a treadmill.
like if I was up there in Wisconsin, I'd already
Did
bought it.
I did spend the 20? Yeah,
So here's the
I've got
deal.
it.
I was thinking like, man, maybe I could get a discount if I called them to get it in because they have that 1 year labor, 1 year parts, 5 year on everything else, right? And 10 years on the frame. But they can't really service labor wise the treadmill. So I should get that in a discount. Because of COVID, a lot of these places they don't
Yeah,
have that labor built in.
I think what they'll say is that they will service you, but you're going to be on their timeline. So they're just going to extend your warranty and say, well, we'll be there to fix it in 6 months.
Yeah, but I'm still making payments and I can't run on this son of a gun, so
So you're looking at finance regardless.
nah, not really.
Oh, come on.
No, I've got enough saved up to where I can buy a decent treadmill, but
I'll buy you a treadmill. You can just pay me back.
I'm not gonna do that.
Zero interest. You get yourself a $2,200 Nordic track.
Madison was like, "Why would you want the iFit?" I was like, "It comes with it. Like every brand, even some of the like off brands, they come with that iFitness." She's like, "Well, who wants that?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm competitive though." She's like, "Well, I just don't see the benefit of it." I was like, "Well, if James is on there, I'd have to show him up.
The
I'd have
the
to
inter-
show."
the interesting thing about the iFit, if it does play as well, because again, mine's been connected to that since I got it, is they have a lot of built-in videos that you watch. So they'll do like a lot of beach running stuff like that, and it builds up with the trainer. So you'll be running at the same pace. So you can select the difficulty uphill, so the incline will increase as they're running uphill.
Do they
It'll
have a
go. It's
Kipchoge mode?
I don't know what that means.
Kipchoge, he's like the fastest marathoner.
Oh, probably not. I don't know if they can keep up with your mustache either way.
Dude, Kipchoge, I mean,
It's
I'm
like
just
you'll
saying.
win the race, but I'll win the
The
style.
mustache. Yeah. No, it's not something I care. I just think that people are trying to keep up with the Peloton. Honestly, like I have
Yeah, I
to
don't
have
need
that
a
in home
four
trainer.
thousand dollar bike.
Here, well, they make treadmills too, and I
I know,
really
but
do like their.
they look like robots. I hate them.
Yeah, yeah, I'll
I
run on one,
hate the
but
look of them. Also, this is my thing. My treadmill goes in my basement, and it's all about the height. So I had to find the treadmill that's set low enough that I can still run on it because you got to have that hop in the step so I'm not beating my head off the rafters. And I can still do the incline. I haven't cranked it all the way up, but it does have like a 15% incline.
yep.
So I think it, like I said, for the money, with the exception of the complaints that I've had before, which you can watch on previous episodes, for the money and for what it is, I really, really enjoy my treadmill.
$1,800.
2,200.
1,800.
Oh, it's already dropped, huh?
That's where I'm leaving it. 1,800. That's all. I mean, that's not what it is right now,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like what I would give for that product. So
You're
I wish.
stupid.
I think yours should have a longer base. I found one that had like 66 inches for
I,
the running area.
Today was the first day I actually, like, while I was walking, I was like, this is a lot longer than I expected it to be. So I like just rode it all the way back, and then I started walking again. I was like, yeah, they didn't. I don't know why I don't explore. I like run so my toes tip the front like protective board or whatever, which
Hmm.
I don't like doing, but I like to be right up on the console for some reason.
You
And
got a
I do that
fear
all
that
the
you're
time.
gonna fall off.
I do. And I can feel like when I fall back, because I used to be a lot more like an explorative with my running, because I would like slow down and maintain the same pace. You know what I'm saying? Like ride
Hmm.
the back, but I could feel my feet like rolling up on that curve that you can feel at the back, and I was like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm not gonna play that game. So I run up until my feet are tipping. But I'm working on getting my speed up a little bit. I think I'm averaging like I could probably consistently run a 7.5. I never run like plus 10 miles per hour. I'm always like the max I go is like 9.5. So I'm not trying to impress anybody. Whereas that's where you're at.
Wow. You gotta impress
Always
yourself.
always trying to impress them ladies.
Yeah, I just feel like when I do get back into running and like timing myself and stuff like that, I'm gonna be really disappointed with how hard it is to run. Like it
But
takes
you're
a
still
little.
gonna do it because you're a competitive asshole.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be like, all right, I used to 8 miles per hour for an hour. Let's do it. And then I'm like, this is hard. God damn.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think mine is 90% mental. I think I could probably do
That's
a
why I
lot
don't need a
more.
screen, man. I need some like German industrial techno or some Linkin Park, Lady Gaga or Madonna, and like let's just zone out and just go.
See,
That's what I
that's
do.
my thing. I can never zone out, and we
You
talked
can't
about
switch
this
it
before.
off,
But
just like
my mind, I'm always thinking. So the best time I have running is whenever I have an idea, like when I'm thinking about like a new book to write, which I don't write books. Let me just be clear about that. But I think about like storylines and movies and screenplays and um, business ideas, stuff like that. I'm an idea man, so I think
about a
about that
town
kind
that
of stuff.
gets wiped out by the
Yeah,
company.
exactly, exactly. Whenever you're on a bike ride, that's what I'm saying, and that made that thing go by fast. It made it go by fast.
I think I don't know. I really enjoyed that, and I want to do something like that or that again. Maybe a little slower though, because I need to hit up a couple
Couple
of those
extra days to
breweries.
have some more fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be down for sure. And that's what I was thinking. We got to talk about this a little bit more off air. But the thing is, we still got a trip next year, regardless if it's COVID or not. It's December. We've got to think of what we're going to be doing next year. We were talking about taking a trip with the ladies, but if COVID still roaring hot, we're probably not going to do that particular trip. But we still got to think of something. We got to invite the guys, at least one of the guys. Um,
Can't even get them to play video games.
that's true. I know it's a sad world. Speaking of video games, you been playing anything this week, John?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of that Pixel Junk Monsters 2.
Okay. Okay.
I do love tower defense games. I actually picked up another tower defense game that I haven't played yet, which is Cows vs Vikings or something like that. Um, Downloaded it. It's a single player one. It's not multiplayer, but I do like Pixel Junk and Pixel Junk Monsters 2. It went on sale. I bought it for my friend Kayla. We played a little bit last night. Had a
You
little bit
son
of
of a bitch. I
connection
see how it
issues.
is. I see how it is.
Had a little bit of connection issues where
While we were on this podcast last week, we talked about it and we looked it up and it was like $3.
you
And I
could
said,
buy for $3
can she not afford $3, John?
probably.
And I said, I'm just not going to buy it because of the sheer amount of things I have to play right now. And I didn't. And you talked to her and you're like, yeah, but I really want to play with her. Fuck him. I don't want you to buy me anything. I'm not asking for it. I'm just saying.
So here's the
I
deal. What we really need to play, okay, when it goes down to enough sides, is that Iron Harvest RTS.
know. You've been talking about that.
It looks great. They just came out with their first DLC. I got a little bit more inkling for it because I got an advertisement for that DLC coming through in my news,
Okay.
and then I also played Company of Heroes again with Anthony and my brother. And
Yeah, how'd
so
that go?
it was looking pretty bad the first 30 minutes in. We were getting torched by the AI. We lost a big chunk of our territory, and I was able to press in. I think Eric was almost going to rage quit because he went into that quiet mode. I don't know if he's
Yep.
like trying to summon
He's
strength.
screaming at you as soon as like you bring one tank in to give him support, and your tank gets destroyed, and he's like, "I asked you for help, and that's the best you could do." And then he just sits there
I'm not trying to
quietly.
brag or anything, but I think I kept us alive. I sacrificed a lot of troops, but I was able to flank the enemy coming from one bridge. Now my brother did blow up the adjacent flanking bridges. He did take care of those. Good for him. I'm a little disappointed in Anthony. Anthony tried to,
Always,
yeah,
no matter
always.
what he plays,
The
that's
poor
what you see.
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like he came in support, but he was like sending out troops and stuff, and he was just getting murdered. He's on the other side of the map. Eric's in the middle. I'm on the right. He's on the left, and he just kept on getting pushed back, like in prison, like you are the bitch. And so then he went into like, I'm gonna do mortars. I'm gonna do artillery. He built some giant howitzers, and I think it played to our advantage. I really would have enjoyed a little bit more ground forces support because I capped out at my troops and I like building them, flanking them, building them, flanking them. So I do appreciate the the artillery support, but damn, it was looking real rough. And then once we got to that choke point created, Eric and I were able to push up. We created a beachhead, and then I flanked around the side, and Eric joined me, and we just destroyed them. So
I was really disappointed that I had to miss out on that. I wanted to participate, but we had a Packers game I had to participate in.
how'd that go?
Yeah, it went great. We
I
played the
saw.
Bears. They're our number one rival, although they suck. So it was a it was pretty much a blowout. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I always appreciate that. And I'm looking at our season now, and I'm thinking there's a good chance that we could end up going 12-4 at worst. I think that's probably a good place that we're going to end up. I'm thinking we could lose to the Titans, but we're going to seal the deal with the rest of the season, and we probably have a pretty good chance of beating the Titans. The quarterback rankings right now are number one Patrick Mahomes and number two Aaron Rodgers, and that's the actual like statistical rankings. That's not just how the announcers feel about the game at that moment. So it's I'm really hoping for that Packers Chiefs Super Bowl before the end of this.
That's
It'd be
it.
hot.
Vacation's over. You're
It
done.
it'd be hot. It's the new guard versus the old guard, and I think it'd be a hell of a game.
Um, Speaking of that, when COVID is finally done, whether
Yep,
we're all
we will.
vaccinated or all
Absolutely.
dead,
I'm in.
Chiefs games, Sporting KC games. Okay, let's do some soccer. And yeah,
I'll
Sporting.
go.
You'll have fun. We'll get
Yeah.
we'll get supporter seats, and we're gonna get wasted.
No,
Okay.
what you're gonna do is we're gonna sign up, and then you're gonna get staph infection, and then you're gonna sit there crying in the corner while I have a blast with the bartender. I guess I don't.
Listen. I'm going to realize that I have blood
Human
poisoning and
flaws.
bacteria eating at me, and I'll figure it out at that point.
Yeah, right.
Also, I'm not sure, but St. Louis was in the talks of getting an MLS team. We'll see what happens. Because they lost the Rams, and so they need to fill in that gap for sports and stuff. And I feel really bad for them. They
Well,
got
they
the
still have
car.
baseball. They have hockey.
Yeah, okay. They
So
they
I
do
mean,
have a Cardinals. I'm not a big fan of baseball. I know Royals and Cardinals are huge. Yeah, I understand. Let's not go into that. Hockey, I
no,
don't care
Royals are
about.
not huge. You say
Huh?
Royals, they're Kansas City. I don't know why you said Royals. The Cardinals are huge. The Blues are a big name. They just won the Stanley Cup
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
2 years ago.
I don't care.
If that's the
Was it two
problem with
years ago? Was it not last year?
no, not last year. It was 2 or 3 years ago.
When was
Um,
COVID starting?
you need to get into hockey. It's a great sport. The problem that I have right now is with hockey specifically is I don't have a team to root for. The closest team that I have is the Blackhawks, and I'm not rooting for a Chicago team. I can't because you can't root for the Cubs, you can't root for the Bears, and you can't root for the Bulls because we have the Brewers, we have the Bucks, and we have the Packers. So I can't sit here and root for a Blackhawks Chicago hockey team when I have nothing to compare. I root for the Gamblers. That's the Green Bay Gamblers hockey team, but they're like sub-pro. They're like high school kids. Now they're awesome, and it's a lot of fun to go to those games. And if you haven't gotten into hockey, it's like soccer but on ice. It's like soccer but with actual artistic and sportsmanlike conduct.
Sportsman-like conduct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
I'm sorry. They can't run really far, but they can do magic tricks. It's insane. They hover around on sheets of ice, John.
So how about this? We'll watch a soccer game in Kansas City. We'll take the train. We'll hit up Herman. Get lit, go to St. Louis and watch a hockey
Yes.
match.
Yes.
I'm down.
Yes. That is that our trip next year?
I'm down with it. My wife still
We'll
doesn't have a
do.
passport, so I'm kind of messed up in
You
that
said
regard.
Missouri, right? We're staying in Missouri.
Yeah. I mean,
So
like if we were gonna go somewhere like Puerto Rico or something, you gotta fly.
yeah,
I think she
no,
has a
that
new.
and that's COVID. We're gonna have to wait 1 year
Yeah.
because it's not gonna be clear enough to go next year. It's just not.
Anywhere
But
unless you get the juice.
we can do we can do the Katy Trail, but we'll have the ladies take it by
Take the
car
car or
or by
train.
train, whatever, and we'll hit up the big cities.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll have a brewery bus. We'll make it a full week, and we'll time it around sports season. We'll hit up a Cardinals game. We'll hit up some Blues. I don't know exactly the way that this times out, but I think we're off kilter here because I'm thinking the baseball season ends before the hockey season starts, but I could be wrong. We'll hit up. I know you don't like baseball, but being at the game is a blast. We'll get some all-inclusive seats. We'll eat all-you-can-eat dogs and beer and babes. I don't know. I don't know. It's all-you-can-eat something. Eating a
Use
bunch of
some of
babes.
those.
Might be babes, as in Babe 2 Pig in the City. I don't know.
Baby Ruth. Little.
Baby Ruth. Yeah. There you go. And we could get Steven in for that because it's eating and he won't ride the bikes. He'll ride the train with the ladies.
He won't even ride the train. Can't even
He
play a
won't even
video
answer.
game. Come on.
He won't even answer the phone.
That's right.
Speaking of video game, I'm going to jump in real quick and I'm
Yeah.
just
What
going
do
to
you
talk
got? What do
about
you got?
one
What do you
game I've
got
been
for me?
playing.
Video games. You've been playing stuff on your
I've been
phone.
playing a couple of different games. But I'm not going to go into Assassin's Creed Valhalla too much. I'm going to kind of get further into that. I put about 40, 45 hours into it, but I want to beat the game. Um, and I'm going to talk about Little Big Planet. Nope, sorry. It's called Sackboy Big Adventure, but it's a spring off of the Little Big Planet series. Um, I just wanted to really quickly say that this is a delightful little game. I've been playing through it with my kids. I exclusively play it with my children. We put about 10 hours into it. We just cleared the second world. We play maybe 30 minutes to an hour, 3 to 4 times a week. Um, it's fantastic. It's the difficulty spike is a little bit aggressive. I have a 6-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, and then I have myself. Obviously, I find that it's got the competitive nature like a Super Mario World or one of those side-scrolling, or even a 3D Mario platformer where you can pick each other up, throw each other, jump on each other's heads, and kind of cause a little bit of chaos. So once my 6-year-old discovered that that was an actual thing, it was just a I don't know, chaos ensued. We're just picking us up and throwing us off of ledges and stuff like that. And in the moment, it's hilarious. But after the 39th time, and you haven't beat the same level you've been playing for 45 minutes, you're just like, I'm done with you. Just take the controller and smash it on the ground. Um, but it's really a delightful 3D action platformer. Lots of hidden collectibles. You unlock customizable costumes and um, unlock hidden levels. You have a bunch of bonus levels and bonus achievements and stuff like that. It has a great source of level variety. The one thing that it leaves out is the customizable design and the level design that you would find in the Little Big Planet series. But as it stands and for what it is, the length of the game is perfect. Like I said, we put about 10 to 12 hours into it at this point, and honestly, for the price, I'm loving it. I think I paid $60 for it, which is actually the big topic that I wanted to have, and we'll springboard off of this into that.
Because
And
it's a $40 game.
it's like I said, I think it's $60 on the PlayStation 4, and I think maybe it was 50. It might have been 50 on the PlayStation 4 and then 60 on the PS5. I'm not sure exactly. Um, but for me, it's exactly what I wanted. It's 100% worth the purchase. If anybody out there has a PS5 and is looking for a nice family-friendly game, I can't say if I was playing this game on my own. I can't even give you my exclusive opinion on if this game is a good single-player game. There are levels built for competitive play, or I'm sorry, cooperative play, and you can't even play them without more than one player. So it is built to play with multiple people. I know for a fact that my in-laws, my sister-in-law and her husband, are playing through the game as well, and those are just two adults that are playing it, and they love the game.
Oh, they got a system too.
They did.
You sell them the extra one you picked up.
No, I didn't get any extras. I'd sell that shit for $1,500. I'm one of those cheap. No, I'm
Scalper.
not. Not really. Um, But that's I'm gonna springboard. Like I said, right now, if I had to rate the game, and I'm rating it exclusively as a dad playing with his 10-year-old and his 6-year-old, I'm gaga. I'm gaga over this game.
You're
I
gaga
love it.
over that.
I think it's great. I think that
So
you and Madison would enjoy this kind of a game if you ever
Madison and
got
I
your hands
would
on it.
probably enjoy that game, but we pick up a little bit of that pixel junk, Monsters 2, and then we also play a little bit of that. When the argument gets too hot about what tower to build
Overcooked.
where, we switch over to that Untitled Goose Game. And I'm
Sure, and
telling you,
that's yeah,
my wife's a
cooperative.
natural. Okay, she's a natural asshole goose to wreak havoc on the citizens of this poor
Yeah,
town. She picks it up naturally. She's like, "Who am I going to mess up today?" Got it. And so like she
it's
makes a great
always you.
partner. Yeah, it's me. It's me. No,
That's
we
the
work
thing
as a
about
team. We're a good
at
team.
least what I saw about that game. There's not a lot of messing or interfering with each other. It's a lot more cooperative. It's that you are trying to work together to get something done.
Yeah.
Usually, the way that this
It's
game
a
specifically
relationship
goes,
building game, James. Okay, it's part of our therapy.
I do think that that is an interesting concept, as that game is not in any way competitive. It is just like, hey, here's a little puzzle. Let's see how obscure we can make these.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas with Sackboy Big Adventure specifically, the way that I find it is, my 6-year-old dies. I'll tell you this though. I will say this: my 6-year-old usually dies first. My 10-year-old then dies, and I finish the level. But it has some fun little competitive aspects. Like if you get the most orbs in a level, then the camera zooms in on you to take a first place picture, and it puts a trophy in your hand. And then like the other people get in your way and try to block it. So it's just a fun, like the end of the level is kind of a
Yeah.
fun little mini game or whatever the case is. But my 6-year-old beat the first boss, the first level's main boss. Like it got down to me dying, my 10-year-old dying, and she took him out, and it was pretty impressive. That it is it's waves of entertainment for all age groups. And I think it's a lot. I'm having a blast with it. I love this game. I think it's exactly what I wanted out of it. So same thing I like to see with an Untitled Goose Game. I don't personally think I could play that with like my 10-year-old and my 6-year-old because it
No.
requires a little bit more like cognitive thoughts
Puzzle
and
troubleshooting
reaction.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I think that would be a good like relationship game. I think my wife and I could have fun if my wife enjoyed video games, which she really doesn't.
She doesn't enjoy solving problems.
Yeah, um, even her own. But with with divorcing me would have been the step number one.
Solve a
Um,
problem right there, but she won't do it.
but John, I want to jump onto conversation, and I brought this up last week um, in our last cast, but I talked about just exploring the realm and the pricing of video games, and we just we kind of started our conversation today with that with HBO Max and talking about how much we would play per movie or whatever they pay per movie. And I'm just curious to kind of where your thought is on like exploring the spectrum of pricing because the one thing I enjoy about PC gaming is they release games at all different pricing. I mean, I've seen them as cheap as $1 or even $1.99, all the way up to, of course, the $60 price tag.
For the
But if I
base
were to,
game, you can get specials and stuff like that right off the
of
bat and
course,
spend $100.
of course, but let's take your favorite. What game would you say you've put the most hours into?
Heroes of Might
Oh,
Magic, probably.
okay. So take Heroes. You're talking series or one game?
Well, that's series, but probably for one game is probably going to be Heroes of Might Magic 3,
Okay.
maybe.
So how many hours ballpark? Just guesstimation. It could be anything. Just give me a
Throughout
number.
the
How
lifetime of the game,
my Magic 3, yes,
it's got to be
specifically.
like 300 or 400 hours.
Okay, let's say you've taken what you know now and exploring an entire spectrum. And I'm not saying sticking with the $1 to $60 spectrum. I'm saying the spectrum of 0 to $16,000. I'm just saying hypothetically. It's a broad spectrum. But knowing how much you got into that game today, what do you think that game's monetary value is to you
Today,
today?
and I'm not talking about the HD version
Yeah.
because they didn't
Specifically,
include all the.
the game you've played for 300 to 400 hours. How much do you think that you would have paid for that game, knowing what you know now, and saying that the spectrum was broad? If they had released that game, knowing what you know now, for $150, would you have paid it?
$150? I think so. If I could say, hey, I'm gonna get 400 hours out of this game. I'm gonna
You
play it
know
with my
exactly what you know now. You know
friends
you
and
put
family
this
and my
much. Yep,
dad. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, it's worth 150 bucks to me
200.
with the expansions.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the idea. I want to bring up a couple of games. I want to talk about, it could be like maybe 5 of our favorite games. I don't know. We can go back and forth, whatever the case is. And I've put no thought into this. It was just a topic that popped in my head, and I was thinking like exploring the spectrum of gaming. Because if I look at the PS5 specifically, and I look at the games that they've released Demon Souls for $70. They've taken it up $10 from the previous console, right? They've released Assassin's Creed Valhalla for $60. There's a PS5 version, but it's cross generation and it's released at a $50, or I'm sorry, $60 value, so equal with the last gen. And then you have Sackboy: A Big Adventure released for $50 on the PS5. So that's what it was. It was 50 for PS5, 40 for PS4. So clearly they released that as more of a budget game. And that's where this idea came from, is they're exploring the spectrum a little bit to see where people fall. And I'm just curious. Like I said, we can kind of go back and forth and put out a couple of examples. And I'm trying to think of games like off the top of my head, and I'm thinking of like games I put the most time into. So for instance, Warhawk. That's a game that came out in 2008, 2009, something in that ballpark. I can't remember exactly, but for the amount of hours and competition and competitiveness between friends and fun, I think that game came out at $60, like a full retail value, is exclusively online.
Was it
But
60? It wasn't like
it
40.
it might have been 50, but it wasn't lower than that.
I'll look it
Uh,
up.
but hindsight 2020, I probably would have, knowing what I know now and the amount of fun and entertainment and competition I got out of that game, I probably would have shelled out an extra, $80 to $90, or not an extra, but $80 to $90 for that game, because we ended up investing in all of the
Vehicle
expansions.
packs. Yeah.
Yeah. So if that was released as is, would we have paid 80 to 90 to $100 for that game? And I'm going to say potentially.
I'm gonna say no. Stop.
You wouldn't have.
No. Well, here's the deal. Okay, and this is how I think the game. So I have to build up my love to pay those prices. Like we mentioned Heroes of Might and Magic 3. The only reason I value it so high is because it is worth that much to me. Now, when I first get the game, maybe even 3 months after, it's not at that value. So, in my opinion, the developers or the distribution studios, what they need to do is they need to have a solid base. And that solid base should be 40 or $50, maybe even
Sure.
60. A really solid base. I love it. It's good. Then I need some kind of expansion. Maybe nothing big. Maybe it's an extra $10 on there. You're using the same gaming engine, some of the same artifacts. It's not going to be that hard for the developer, but release that maybe 6 months or a year afterwards. It feeds off of the like and the entertainment that I have from the really solid base, so I'm more apt to buy that. Or you come up with a bigger update that's $20. I've paid for $20 expansions
Sure.
that are not standalone, and they build off that strong base, and I'm more to buy that. And you have a returning customer. That's
And
me.
I like where your head's at, but have they released Might and Magic 4?
Here's my Magic 4. Yeah. I mean, this is
How
an old
how
game.
how, how about 5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
8?
No.
All right. So let's say hypothetically you invest $50 probably at the time for Heroes of Might and Magic 3. That was the one that you loved. For whatever. Okay, let's say hypothetically, we're just going to say that 4 didn't exist. Okay, you invest $50, they get you with a little bit of DLC, and you've invested a total of $80 into that content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they release Heroes of Might and Magic 4, but they release it for $70. Do you buy that game? Because the proving ground is there. You know that they've. Let me use a little bit of a different example. Okay, Witcher 1, Witcher 2, Witcher 3. Witcher 1, niche title, kind of a narrow storyline. You're going where they want you to go. beaten path, right? Second one opens up a little bit. Third one's completely open world, right? So CD Projekt Red has proven themselves. So from 1 to 2 to 3, is it fair to say that 1 is a $60 base value game, 2 is a $70 base value game, 3 is an $80 base value game because their proven track record is there. Same thing with BioShock. BioShock 1, perfect game, $60 value. BioShock 2, $70 game. It's obviously not perfect, different studio, so it's a little bit of a different story. Then BioShock 3, original developer, original studio, $80 game. So would it be worth taking those steps up in that sense to see that studio grow and expand and
As long as
build
the
upon that?
contact, as long as the content expands. So like
Does it need
let's
to
say the
expand?
here it
Expand?
does. So like with the Heroes of Might and Magic, right? The base game could come out with 5 races or 5 civilizations, right? When you get an expansion or something, it comes with new maps. It comes with maybe 1 or 2 new races or deals, more heroes and stuff like that. There's content to be had in that. You can't just like, okay, well, you're going to jump to Heroes of Might Magic 4, and now you're cut down from 8 to 7 races from Heroes of Might Magic 3. Now you're cut down to 5 races again. And so there's it going, it takes you a step back to where now you're limited in the amount of choices you have. Like, I understand the studio's proven, which is not the case. Like, there's been huge changes every time they have a new Heroes of Might Magic game because companies get bought, sold, and developer studios are kicked off the project and new
Sure.
ones are put on. Um, Thanks, Ubisoft. I'm
Well,
not
this is a
salty.
question I have for you. I like where you're going in this, and the question I have is let's talk about narratively structured games specifically because you're leaning into Might and Magic has a built-in story, but it also has the
Yeah, there's
massive
campaigns and stuff.
competitive and multiplayer play, right? Um, so let's talk about a game like God of War, which I know you're not a big fan of specifically, but God of War 1, 2, 3, Ascension, and then the new remake God of not remake. It's the next sequel, but it's kind of a re-envisioning God of War. Um, Narrative structure. And well, let's even go back a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let's talk Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay. Spider-Man, full feature-length game, 30 to 35 hours, maybe 40 hours of content if you're looking for that platinum trophy. $60 release. Spider-Man Miles Morales released for $50 PS5, $60 PS. I'm sorry, $50 PS4, $60 PS5. 20 hours worth of content. For me, it's exactly what I want. I think the game lengths are too long. I would prefer little bite-sized mini chunks more than I want this big, expansive open world everything,
Well,
right?
everything's trying to do that. They're Assassin's Creed and everything.
And Assassin's Creed is we'll try to we're running out of time, and I wish we would have gotten to this a little sooner, but Assassin's Creed Valhalla specifically is the kind of game that narratively there's not a lot happening. I enjoy the game specifically, but it is kind of just if it was a 20-25 hour game, I would I would be in love with what it is and what it offers. But the fact that I've already put 45 or so hours into this game and I'm not anywhere near the end kind of makes me start to lose the need for the value. Like the value is starting to
Are you
dwindle.
playing
It's not.
Shadow of War?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting at. It's just a grind at this point,
Yeah.
and it's a fun time sink, but that time sink doesn't equal value to
Is it
me.
becoming work to get to
It
the
is
next
becoming
area?
work.
Yeah.
It is becoming work. And it's exactly built that way. Whereas a Miles Morales, I would pay again that Miles Morales game to me would be worth $60 to $80 for what it is because it's a quick, perfect little story. And that's what I like to see. And to go back to God of War to see the new, I'm just talking about just the re envision, the new God of War 2018, I think it was. That game is absolutely perfect in my opinion. So if they were to release a 20 to 30 hour story to expand on the story with the same mechanics, everything else of the God of War series, that game specifically, and charge me $70, so $10 more, that's worth it to me. If they say it's going to be an $80 open world 150-hour game, I'm going to start to go, I don't know that I need that.
Yeah.
And I know it's because I'm in a different world. I'm 34 years old and I'm
Well,
not
here's the deal. They
19.
could cut that out, charge you that $40, $50 price. Once you've had a fill of that game, a year later, 6 months later, whatever, then they have an expansion that ties onto that game. They can get the same money for you. They don't have to release it all at once. One, it's a bigger upfront cost at $80. It's going to turn some people away just on the cost. Number two, it's going to turn people away like you. Like, shit, I ain't got time for that, right? I've got to play Sackboy Adventures with my kids. I've got work. I've got things to do. So it's a lot of it's money and time investment. Like, come on, I can see value, but they should just split it up. Give me a break, an intermission, please. Movies are like that sometimes. I feel like I'm like, why is this 3 hours long?
Yep. And
Give
that's
me an intermission.
and maybe I recognize, and this is going to be my last point, and then we can wrap this up, but I'm recognizing that in my older age, and again, I'm 34, you're 34. Um, Midsommar's movie we talked about the last cast. I found myself watching that in 30 to 40-minute chunks, and that was kind of the
Hmm.
perfect way to consume that content. And it didn't lose anything for me. And as a matter of fact, it actually elevated that movie. Whereas when I watched it the first time, I'm going to be honest, it's a 2 hour and 38-minute movie, something like that. I watched it in theaters. I fell asleep. I missed about a 20-minute window of it. Woke up.
Were you drinking?
No, in a theater.
I was.
Did you
I
stay awake?
was. Yeah.
That movie didn't grip me, and I appreciate the little abbreviated content. I'm not saying that that's the way to that movie shouldn't have been a miniseries, but maybe it should have been, because that movie kind of had the build up and the climax and the breakdown just like a show would have. Um, and I think that some of this content could be better served to not necessarily be movie length, feature length, and not necessarily be, 60 to 80-hour game length. Actually, to go back to Valhalla, there's like 4 or 5 different maps in the game, so they're all pretty expansive and large. And one of the spoilers, mild spoilers for Valhalla, but you do go to Asgard, so you meet Thor and Loki and so on. And I completed the
You
entire
murder them.
quest line in Asgard, and that took me about 6 hours altogether, 7 hours. And for me, that was a perfect length of a game. And I was like, I love this. And then I went back to I went to England, and I was like, oh, I'm back to this, back to the same old grind. And so I logged in at 8 o'clock this morning, played for 2.5 hours, finished up the Asgard storyline. I was like, I love that. If this was the end of the game, that I would have nothing but 100% like 10 out of 10 taste in my mouth. But all this extra content, which is a massive expansion on the Asgard storyline, makes it more than it needs to be. So I'd be interested in having smaller, more bite-sized content. That's just my opinion, and we'll put a pin in it there.
Like those skinny Cokes or something.
Yeah, exactly. Except no one appreciates an 8-ounce Coke or
Tapas. I want to eat
those 8-ounce
tapas.
beers that they sell for some reason now. So, with that being said, this has been the Nobody Entertainment Podcast. John, you have a little bit of information, a little bit of wit, little bit of wisdom for us this week.
Uh, this week?
Yeah,
Man. If a sock is on a door,
I think you've used that one.
don't. No, I
Yes, you
haven't.
have.
Don't touch the sock. Walk
You've said
away.
that before. I need
No, I
something else.
haven't.
It could be mustache related. Go.
Mustache related. Listen, it's not for everybody, but it is fun for everyone.
I like that. All right. So with that being said, Jay, thank you guys. Thank you, John, for joining me today on Nobody Entertainment Podcast. Thank you for watching the Nobody Entertainment Podcast, and you guys have a great week.
All right, everyone, take care. Devs, listen up. Watch your prices now,
And
okay?
shorten it.
That's not what she said, but okay. Bye.